G'day world, Empire Australasia here for another edition of our Movie of the Week. I'm Dan Murphy, with me is James JJ Jennings and David Michael Brown. And this week we're talking about a film we all saw together pretty much at the Sydney Film Festival.
Holding hands.
Jodorowsky's Dune, which is a documentary about the ill-fated production, and it's amazing. It's a great watch. Who wants to run us through it? Dave, do you want to give us a go?
Yeah, I mean, anyone who doesn't know Alejandro Jodorowsky's work, he's the guy who pretty much invented the midnight movie back in the early 70s with El Topo, and then he made one of the simply the most bonkers films ever made in 1973 called The Holy Mountain, which I highly recommend you all go and watch. And then somehow both these films made a fair bit of money, so he was looking for his next project and he stumbled across Frank Herbert's Dune. The novel was...
Well, he never read it.
Yeah, he'd never read it.
Yeah.
But it ended up in his lap, kind of, as a project.
He had a friend who told him it was good, so he's like, I'm going to make a movie of it.
And he's like, why not?
Yeah.
And so he got together with this amazing lineup of people, like the French artist Morbius, and like H.R. Geiger, and he had these ideas of having like Orson Welles was going to be in it, and Mick Jagger, and he
David
produced...
Carradine.
Oh, yeah.
Salvador Dali is the mad emperor of the galaxy.
Yeah.
And he had this amazing project, and he pitched it everywhere, and it was so bonkers and so insane what he wanted to do, and it's all about the journey of making this film, or trying to make this film, presenting it to the Hollywood studios, and everyone just going no. And it's all based, the great thing about the film is it's all based around Jodorowsky talking, and he's such a character.
Yeah.
He's so fantastic to listen to.
Charismatic and wonderful. And...
He's well into his 80s now. And
Yeah.
and still like sprightly doesn't even
So
begin
full
to
of life.
define him.
You could watch him talk for hours. Like
He reminded me of Eli Wallach, of course, who we lost this week, but at 98. But I mean, even in a kind of a so-so rom-com like The Holiday, Wallach still exuded this kind of impish, intelligence that was fantastic. And Jodorowsky's the same. And he goes on about he wanted to create a band of spiritual warriors.
Yes,
This is beyond filmmaking.
He wanted to make a sci-fi film that would change the consciousness of the world.
Yeah,
and he had things like, Dune's set around the different planets, and each planet was going to have a different soundtrack.
Yeah.
So he got like...
Pink Floyd was going to do one.
Another one.
Yeah.
So this is crazy stuff, and you look at this and what he'd done with all these artists and people. He'd produced his book, and it's like this. And he pretty much storyboarded the whole film.
Yeah.
And I would love to see this book. It looks amazing. And
There's only 2 in existence.
yeah, and I think since then, a lot of it's turned up in comic books, which is an avenue he's kind of beginning to explore at 80, as you do. But it's extraordinary. It's one of those great documentaries about the joys, I guess, the highs and lows of filmmaking, but you just can't help but just love the whole process by watching.
Yeah, and the cultish passion that he managed to engender in people, which I think a lot of directors, that are particularly the enthusiastic, artistic-y ones, really managed to sort of infuse an enthusiasm in everyone around them. You know what I mean? And his negotiating skills, like negotiating with Orson Welles to play the part, so that he would have the chef of the restaurant they were eating in come by and cook him every meal. You know what I mean? I was going to say, it's exactly what you want from this kind of documentary. You know what I mean? It's Frank Pavich is the director who's put it together, and it touches bases with the right sort of talking heads. Nicholas Winding Refn, is a friend of Jodorowsky's and has seen the book, and so for cinephiles, there's a really great group of people that have been organised to talk about it. It's really cannily put together, but as you say, Dave, the star of the show is the man. Alejandro's
just fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are we going to give it, chaps?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. It's almost a 5 but not quite, but it's just so entertaining, so I'm going to give it 4 out of 5.
I'm going to go with 5.
I'm going with 5 too.
Yeah.
If you're a movie buff and you want to, as you say, for such a great capture of this bloke in his twilight years, and still so fantastic.
It's pretty extraordinary.
And as a cinematic experience, you walk I walked out feeling inspired.
Yeah.
When a film gives you a documentary is so well made and so inspiring, and I just walked out on top of the world. So
I think I'll give it 5 if they made the film. I want to see Dune. That's what we want to see.
Yes, someone needs to take his book and make an animated film of Dune. Someone.
He'd need $300 million though, wouldn't he? It would be a really expensive film.
Yeah, because the artwork is just outstanding. I mean, that's the other thing about the film, which was the filagrees of of influence that it had over sci-fi films and stuff from that moment on.
Yes,
and of course the film was a version of it was finally made by David Lynch in the 80s, which was I'd actually didn't mind it when I saw it at the time, because whatever.
But it's great when Jodorowsky finally sees it and he's so happy that he didn't like it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He was terrified because Lynch is such a great artist, but he was overjoyed because it was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's I think that you could do it. You could do like an animated version
You
with avatars that look like David Carradine, Orson Welles, Dali, Mick Jagger. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
We'd do it. Give us the money.
A real study of madcap passion and and the ability and the effect that has on other people.
Yeah.
5 stars.
5
See
stars.
it.
Check it out.
It's going to be a limited release, obviously because it's a documentary about a film that was never made. But if you can find a cinema near you that's going to be playing it, make sure you go see it. Jodorowsky's Dune is out today. That's it for us. Another Empire movie of the week. The